Hi folks, welcome to the channel, welcome to the Man Cave. Hope everybody is keeping well. So today's video, slightly different. We're not reviewing brand new bikes, we're reviewing a slightly older bike. So today we're going to be looking at this lovely example of Yamaha's 2019 MT-09. Clearly in this current financial climate, some of us can't afford brand new motorbikes, or we just don't want to fork out 10 grand for a 2023 MT-09, but we might want to look at a used model. So that's what we're going to do today. So a little bit of history on this. A friend of mine, Charlie, hello Charlie. So this is his bike, and he said to me, would I mind doing a little bit of a test ride on it? So that's what we're doing today. So basically he's riding around on a 125cc bike at the moment, and I think he's got a full license on that. So he's just waiting to sort of step up to the next category of motorbike. So he's bought this in anticipation of when he's had his license for long enough to be able to jump on this and ride it around, and I think he'll be riding it around on L plates. So that's what we're looking at today, the 2019 Yamaha MT-09. So if that's something that interests you, stick around and we'll jump right into it. So let's give you a little bit of a background in the MT-09 family. So Yamaha first brought these out in 2013, and then in 2017 they had a bit of a facelift. So this 19 model is that sort of 2017 facelift model, and it's got that, dare I say it, transformery kind of two lens headlight unit to it. And then in 2021 they then went for a single headlight, which is, I don't really like that one. In 2023 that is going to set you back about £10,000. If you go on the Auto Trader website, put in Yamaha MT-09 2019 or thereabouts, you're going to be paying about £7,000 ish. Current financial climate, the mess that everything's in at the moment, you might not be able to get a PCP deal or that kind of thing. I don't know, but you just might want to rather have a new one and throw down 10 grand and the PCP deal. You just might want to go, do you know what, I'll just go for between 6 and 7 grand and the bike will be mine. So yeah, you've got options, and if you go down the second-hand route, this is what we can expect with the MT-09. MT, if you want to know what that stands for, if you don't know already, it stands for Masters of Torque, and I guess that's from it being a 3-cylinder engine, that triple engine, which gives you the best of both worlds. You've got that low down torque and then that bit of a oomph at the top of the rev range. So yeah, that's what MT stands for. So the CP3 engine, it has been around for a while. That's the cross-plane 3 engine, cross-plane, and 3 is the 3-cylinder. So 3-cylinder engine, 847cc, banging out 115 horsepower. Old money, 64 foot-pounds of torque. New money, 87 newton meters. Weight-wise, we're looking at about 193 kilos wet, apparently. And seat height 820 millimeters, so it's not too high. I'm 5'9", 32-inch seam, and I've ridden it from my friends to.Here. No problem flat-footing it whatsoever. Service intervals, looking on the website, on the owner's manual, services being done every 6,000 miles, so 6, 12, 18, etc. So yeah, if you've got any comments to make about this bike, folks, yeah, put it in the comment section down below. That will help other people who are interested in getting one of these. Yeah, so 6,000 miles for the service interval. So now let's talk about the electronics on the bike. So we've got 3 riding modes, and they are A, B and standard. A is for you sportier riding folks. That's actually quite twitchy, a bit nervous if I'm being perfectly honest, a bit too keen for me. B is, I'm just going to say it's rain mode, but it says it's a riding sensitive mode, but I would call that rain mode. And then you have a standard mode, STD, but we don't want to get into that, do we? So I would say that's your road mode, STD. So your 3 riding modes. ABS is on the bike front and rear, but you can't switch it off. So you can't switch the back off and then go sort of backing it into a corner if that's your kind of thing. And then you've got traction control. You have 2 levels of traction control, well 3 actually. So you have traction control 1, which is the minimum amount of intrusion. Then you have traction control 2, which is the maximum amount of intrusion. And then you have off. It's got a quick shifter, but the quick shifter just goes up and there's no blipper on the way down. So that about covers that. In relation to any other bits and pieces on there, there is nowhere to charge your phone. So Charlie, the owner of this bike, has had a USB dual socket installed on here so he can charge his mobile phone on the handlebar section here, and he's put I think that's a quad lock he's got on there as well for his phone. So yeah, you might just have to go to aftermarket to get a USB on there. There's a little bit of storage under the seat as well. And in relation to how many miles you get from the tank, well, I guess that all depends how much of a loon you are. But the tank itself is a 14-litre tank, and they do say it's about 50 miles to the gallon, and that equates to about 120 miles before any light, I believe, comes on, and then you've got 30 miles to go on reserve before you've got to start pushing it. So I think that pretty much covers the bike. Stuff he's put on, or the previous owners put on, the little indicators here, the micro indicators, mini indicators. It's got some very nice SW Motec handguards on there. I think it really sets the bike off quite nicely. And then Charlie, bless him, has put some R&G crash protection on it because when he's eligible to get on the road, he wants to go and do some track days on the machine as well. And the other thing on the rear, it's got a rear tail tidy. It's sort of attached to the swinging arm of the bike kind of thing. So he's just tidied that up. Again, I think that's an R&G tail tidy, but I'll zoom in on that. And then one thing they've had done on here, or Charlie's had it put on there, is one of these, and I think it looks really good, pyramid plastics. Just a front fairing bit here looks really quite smart actually. So it's pretty much a basic bike. Nothing's been done to the engine, and there is a aftermarket exhaust on the other side, which we'll have a look at. But I'm not sure if that's one of the Yamaha optional accessories, but if I find out, I'll put something on the screen to let you know. But that's a quite nice exhaust, and in the short distance I've ridden it, it's not too noisy either, so it's very pleasant sound. Certainly with that 3-cylinder engine, it is very nice. So I think without further ado, I think I've covered everything on the bike. So I think what we'll do is we'll just do that, throw that away, get my jacket on, helmet on, and go for a bit of a blat. So let's go. Right folks, we are ready to go out on the MT-09. This is my KTM 890R, so I know a little bit about naked bikes. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see how that compares to that. So without further ado, let's hop on this machine and go for that blat. So as you said in the man cave, I'm 5'9", 32-inch seam, and you can see quite easily I can flat foot the bike. So I think we should fire this up and go for that blat. So without further ado, let's do a little bit of that. Oh, it does sound very nice, very nice. Let's go. Whoa, welcome back to the man cave. Well, here we are then, finally out on the MT-09. A couple of things we didn't talk about in the man cave. First off then, in relation to the brakes, the bike is actually built to a budget, so it's, you know, very competitively priced when it was launched, and I think again in 2023 the bike is very competitive from a price point of view, and that certainly was the same back in 2019. So in relation to the brakes, we're not sporting the fancy Brembo brakes, so you're just getting Yamaha's decent braking system. And then the suspension, well, the 2017 facelift saw the suspension just upgraded a little bit. Again, it's to a budget though, but we do have fully adjustable suspension at the front and fully adjustable suspension at the rear, but the only thing you can't do at the rear is adjust the compression. So yeah, I think that's everything talked about the bike. So let's just talk about, firstly, is it comfortable? Well, again, I'm 5'9", 86 kilos, out of the shower. And for me, yeah, it fits me. I guess I'm just Mr. Joe average. So the bike fits me well. I do find though that, yeah, I don't know how good that seat would be after a couple of hours. I can feel it already. But the bike really fits me nicely. It's certainly not as dialed in as, say, my KTM 890R is, so I think you could do, you know, some decent miles on this, bearing in mind you've got a limited fuel range there of 150 miles before you've got to push it when you run out of gas. But yeah, for me, 5'9",
yeah, I'm not leant forward on the bars. It's just a very comfortable bike to be on at the moment, except for the I can just feel that seat would be a little bit firm, but I think Yamaha do some seat options as well. So comfort wise, yeah, it's all right, but people do forget to adjust the bars and the position of the foot pegs and all that kind of thing. So when you get a bike, just adjust everything. So comfort point of view, yeah, it's all right. It's certainly more relaxed than my KTM 890R. So let's talk about the instrumentation then. So we've got a little LCD display down here, and it's got everything I need. It's got a gear indicator, obviously the speedometer, and it tells me what mode I've got the bike in and what traction control I'm in as well. So it's got everything I need, and there's a little fuel gauges there as well, which is flashing. That's right, I need to go and get some fuel. And the only thing, a man of my age at 57, is the rev counter on the outside. Just a little bit small, but yeah, you youth will no doubt be able to see that a lot clearer than me, but that's just a little bit small. Those numbers are a little bit small, but other than that, instrumentation is good, and all the switch gear is nice as well. Everything falls to hand, very nice. The mode button is easy to change the mode button, and traction control, again, yeah, it's not complicated. It's not a complicated bike. There is no IMU, i.e. gyro, so you haven't got cornering ABS, all that kind of stuff. So it's a pretty simple bike, so very easy to use, not complicated at all. And what I have noticed is that quick shifter is very nice. So the quick shifter then is nice, not a problem, and obviously there is no downshift available. You just got to go back to what we used to do when we had no electronics on the bikes. But I tend not to use the quick shifter between first and second, because you've got to go through neutral, so I just use that the good old way with the old two fingers job. Yeah, so the quick shifter's fine, quite happy with that. Right, there's nothing behind me then. Let's see how good the Yamaha brakes are. So there's obviously no IMU, there's no cornering ABS on this, so I'll jump on the brakes whilst I'm upright, and let's get up to 40 miles an hour and just jump on the brakes. Yep, not bad at all. ABS didn't kick in, so I'd say you'll have no problems with the brakes on this, so they're more than adequate. Obviously they're not the de rigueur Brembo brakes, but hey, the bike was built to a certain budget. In relation to the controls of the bike, I think we've touched on those already, but I didn't mention the clutch lever. The span is not adjustable, but the brake lever, the span is adjustable. But the bike sort of suits my 5'9" frame quite nicely. Yeah. So I've just been to put some gas in the tank, and we'll just see up here, we've got a fuel gauge up here. So that wasn't shown before, because clearly I was running on fumes, which is why we had the fuel warning light flashing at me. So we've got a full tank now, and you've got the decreasing bar system in the top right hand corner. So yeah, the bike's got everything you need. It's not, as we said earlier on, it's not packing the latest IMU with lean sensors and all that kind of stuff, so it's a very, very simple bike to operate. And then if you want to change the mode, well, you just got a mode button here. I'm in standard STD mode at the moment, which we said in the man cave. I'm just going to say that's road mode. And then A is sporty mode, so it's a little bit, I mean, it really is just too twitchy for me, and I, you know, yeah, I wouldn't, personally I wouldn't use that, but each to their own. And then the other mode is mode B, which is a bit softer apparently, so that would be your rain mode, but I'm going to stick it back into good old standard mode. And you've got a gear selector down here, or gear indicator, so third gear at the moment, fourth gear, fifth gear, and that's using the quick shifter. So it's all good. I mean, the gearbox is pretty smooth. I just don't use the quick shifter going up from first to second, because you've got to go through neutral. But slow speed riding then, yeah, if you're riding around town, it's not going to be a problem. Not going to be a problem at all. You know, third gear there, yeah, it just pulls really well. So let's talk about the engine, which is the main thing really in relation to the bike. That's the outstanding thing of the bike. That's that CP3 engine. It's so smooth and it gives you the best of both worlds, from low down torque to a bit of excitement when you open the taps up. Yeah, it's just a really nice engine. I've never ridden the CP3 engine before and I'm very impressed with it. There we go, third gear, and it will just pull. It's not chugging at all. It's not complaining. Yeah, really nice. So you'd have no problems using this as a commuter. Obviously it's a naked bike, you've got no protection. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, the bike, third gear, not a problem. Pulls. It's very impressive. Why would you want an MT-10? Have no idea. There we go, third gear. Wind it on. Flipping out. You can have some serious fun on this machine. So low down, the engine pulls really well. I'm very impressed with it, and if you want to have mucho funno, you can as well. Oh, it sounds absolutely glorious. It really does sound good. Very nice, and it just pulls really well. Again, I don't know why you'd want an MT-10 or anything bigger than this. It's just seems to hit that perfect spot. Yeah, that exhaust note is quite addictive. I could listen to that all day. Does sound very nice, very nice. Anyway, enough of all that. Well, I've got to say, folks, that is a cracking engine. Sounds great, goes well. Yeah, very impressed with it. Well, who's the actual bike for? If you're moving up from a lower capacity bike, yeah, I think this is. I think you might have to be a little bit on the careful side, because it's got enough go on it to get you into a lot of trouble. So yeah, that 114, 115 horsepower. Yeah, that's more than enough for the majority of us good folk, if we're being perfectly honest. So, is it a bike for a beginner? Only if you're very, very careful with the throttle, I would say, because it's got enough to, more than enough to get you into some serious trouble. If you're coming back to biking, yeah, that'd be a great bike to return back to biking with. Yeah, very good. Now, if you want to go away and do some touring on this, obviously you've got its sibling, which is the Tracer. That's got more stuff on it, fairing and everything, so you might want to have a look at that. But most people get a bike because they like the looks of it, and I really like the look of this bike. So any negatives? Yeah, my seats, the seat is a bit, yeah, I might have to look at getting a new seat if it was me. And what about if you want to go away touring? Can you carry anything on the bike? Well, obviously you can maybe get a roll bag and put that on the back, get a rucksack, or you can go to like SW Motec. They do those semi-rigid side cases you can get for that, so you wouldn't be limited. And you can have a look at, I had a look this morning actually, sportsbikeshop.co.uk. They do quite a few bits for the Yamaha. They do like a Puig screen, so obviously it's a naked bike with no protection, so you can, you know, go and chuck some more money at it and use it as a tourer. But yeah, that seat, I'd do something with that seat. But yeah, you've got options, option generation as we say in my business. But that engine is the best thing about the bike, and it's actually really comfortable. From a, you know, there's no aching on my wrists or anything like that. When you are giving it some beans, is you can just feel it just starting to tie itself up into a few knots. But that was just me giving it some, as they say, and it gets a little bit twitchy. You can feel it flex a bit, but I haven't touched the suspension. So if most people don't touch the suspension, you need to play around with it, guys. So if you're a person that doesn't use the tools on the forks, go and find a mate who knows what to do and sort the suspension out. That can make a big difference. So in summing up then, I like this bike. I think Charlie's got a good buy here. It's a shame he's not on the road at the moment, but he's just going to have to wait. But those of you who are looking at the MT-09, what an amazing engine. Really, really nice, very tractable. And then once it gets going, woohoo, we have lots of giggling. It stops all right too. Like to see some Brembo calipers on the front, but everything costs money, doesn't it? So I would say this is a cracking little bike. You don't always have to have the latest stuff coming off the showroom floor. 2023 stuff just costs a lot of money, and this is yeah, I like this. This is certainly more comfortable than my KTM 890R. So yeah, I like it. Goes well, stops reasonably okay, comfortable. You can go and get some accessories for it, go touring on it. Although you've got that 120 mile range plus 30. I'm not gonna, let's just go. See, there's plenty of go in it. Then you've got that 120 mile range with 30 for reserve, so 150 miles. So yeah, you can go and have a bit of fun weekend touring and stuff. But I'm no expert on the MT-09. This is a nice bike. I'd have one in my garage. Charlie's put the USB stuff on there, the quad lock, so with a screen and some soft cases on the back, yeah, you can go and have some fun. Well, that is enough from me, boys and girls. I'm going to take this bike back to its rightful owner. If you've enjoyed the video, got any comments to make, thumbs up and all that YouTube kind of stuff, that would be lovely. And this video, as I said at the start, is really just for people looking at getting a used second-hand one. So if you can help them out, please put them in the comment section down below. That's enough for me. I'm going to go drop this bike off to Charlie and go and get my old man's GS. In the meantime, ride safe. See you all again soon in the next video. Cheerio for now. So yeah, I'm going to say brakes could be slightly, no, wow, no, there you go mate. Wow, defensive riding, there we go.